What's up, Soul Family? Coming at you with another collective reading. This time, the message is going to be for anybody who's ever wanted to square it up with the universe, God, the divine, the forces of creation, whatever you want to call it. If you've ever felt like you've been betrayed by your motherfucking soul, then this reading is for you. Because I know through my journey, I've definitely felt like I've been gaslit or like fucked with by the universe or by forces unseen. So I feel like I can't be the only person. I think when it comes to grasping these concepts and interacting with these things, it can be very tumultuous sometimes. And yeah, here's some advice to get through this. So far we have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Chariot, which of course, because, you know, what else can you do aside from persevere? The Five of Wands. Yeah, I feel like sometimes our souls are keenly aware of the things that we have to go through, but it understands, I guess, maybe a longer term goal than we might be able to kind of, I guess, perceive. It doesn't make it easy. It doesn't make it fair. It doesn't make it right. And then sometimes there's a lot of things that do go wrong throughout this human experience. Like there are things that do go like not as we plan, but okay, that's like half the deck. Let me see how many this is. We'll take them and then I'll end it. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a longer one. And the Hierophant. The Hierophant's been popping up for me all day today. It's very interesting, my relationship with this card. And then the cards that I just dropped were the Knight of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. So oftentimes people have asked me if I read reversals or not. I simply don't, because I feel like whatever message is meant to come through will. Tarot has enough diversity within the cards that pop out to account for you not reading for reversals, and then to allow those energies to come through in a different way. At least that's been my experience, at least. I don't know about anybody else's, but... Alright, cool. I still want the Hierophant to be on the bottom, but I feel like we need one more card, so I'm going to split the deck and take this one. And put that there. And that was the Five of Swords. Alright, so let me go ahead and organize this, and we'll get right back into the reading. So, funny enough, the Hierophant does represent a lot of times, like, higher wisdom, our connection to spirituality. Sometimes represents, like, tradition and religion as well, but I think in this case, especially with the theme being if you've ever felt betrayed by your soul or anything else like that, I think it's definitely representing our connection to the universe, our spirit guides, whatever else you want to call it out there. And all of the above, because, you know, all of these things are contained within the all, and we are an aspect of the all that we're able to connect with all of these energies. I know, so let's go ahead and break it down. So in my experience, religion has been pretty trash. Like, I've not really enjoyed my experience with religion. So I can definitely attest to the Hierophant and my relationship being pretty complicated. I know I've had a lot of trauma around religion, and I know a lot of people who are embracing the spiritual path have also been maybe ostracized or have maybe had negative experiences around this as well. So the Hierophant does represent that, but it also does represent, in general, the pure connection that we have to the infinite, or our higher self, or whatever you want to call it, to our soul, or to infinite intelligence. So sometimes our relationship with the Hierophant is rejecting the societal norms and structures that have been built in. And sometimes once you start going down that path, it can be very painful. You almost feel like you've been betrayed by your soul or God or creation, because some of the things that you, or the truths that you come to experience, or some of the things that you experience in general, not even just the truths, but some of the experiences while navigating this paradigm can be very painful and very tumultuous. It's not a very easy path, to say the least. I think one of the best comparisons or the best analogies I can kind of think of is like when there's this character who has the greater good of all kind of like in their hands. And sometimes what the greater good calls for isn't exactly something that is fun. And it might be that we are simply here to enjoy the physical and the human experience, but the path or the pursuit of happiness isn't always something that comes just easy for everybody. For some people, it's an actual pursuit and a journey to get to the point of obtaining peace and experiencing joy and bliss, especially when some of us have been born into some very chaotic circumstances. I think this reality that we're in is a little bit barbaric, to say the least, especially with what we're going through with the administration that we're under, the belief systems that people have, and the way that people act, the way that people think. It's almost insane, to be completely honest. It's quite literally absurd. There are so many aspects of basic human rights that people still have to fight for, and I think that maybe some of us were unfortunately put here to kind of be the people who allowed others to kind of see or understand deeper truths to humanity, be it through our exploration of our sexuality, our gender, the exploration of different forms of spirituality. When it comes to this physical realm, there is free will, and there are a lot of different timelines, and a lot of times there are things that tend to go wrong as a result of humans and their lack of the pure connection to source and their thoughts and beliefs about how things should be, or even their just straight up disconnection to spirituality as a whole, that then leads to these very heinous and fucked up decisions and perspectives and choices that people make. So I know I'm really talking about the Hierophant. I'm going to definitely go into the rest of the reading. It's probably going to be a really long one. Probably going to have to cut this into two parts, so like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But I guess it's not that long for a reading. It's like a standard one. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is sometimes there could be maybe a need to kind of shift the narrative within certain timelines that maybe things might have gone wrong or things might have gone a little bit haywire, and some souls might have the capacity to help with that shift. And it's interesting because the only thing that's ever needed for that shift to happen is for the souls that come in here. It's only ever intended for us to embrace our authenticity and our own individual paths and perspectives. Now, I'm not saying, if you have a path or a belief that harms other people, then to continue to instill that and force that on other individuals. But if you are somebody who's operating out of pure love, out of pure good intentions, and you are trying to help others genuinely, and you actually are operating out of like a higher level of awareness and empathy, then I think I'm pretty sure anybody who's listening to this right now can agree, like, we fucking need that shit in this realm. Like, we definitely need more people who are operating out of a deeper level of compassion and awareness and trying to actually understand and make things better. I think anybody who's listening to this can easily agree that this place can be very difficult to navigate. And there is a need for, I would like to believe, and maybe this is my own hubris and my own ego, but I definitely believe that humans can benefit from having a direct connection or a deeper connection to spirituality and their consciousness, much less, source itself, especially when there have been so many filters and so many layers of deception that have been placed over humanity's eyes to the point in which people are wildly disempowered to even consider any other narrative outside of what they've been taught. I know I've definitely felt like I've been betrayed by creation, by my soul even. I felt at times like, how could anything that is, first of all, smarter than me, like, if you're smarter than me, like, how the fuck could you even think that this is a good idea? Much less anything that's kinder or more benevolent than me, to then put us in a scenario that these things could even be experienced. But I think a couple things. Again, I think things are able to simply go wrong or not as intended. And I also think that sometimes there is a need to go through these things for whatever reason that we need to become a better being overall, be that on a soul level or be that on an individual level. I think we're definitely here to make friends and to rejoice and to have fun with all the different beings. And, we're here to celebrate what consciousness is and the joys of being physical, be it through food, be it through dance, be it through anything really, anything that we're capable of doing. But sometimes things just don't go as planned. And this video is about to cut off, so I'm going to post this one and we're going to go to part 2. So welcome back, Soul Family. This is part 2 to the last video. So we're going to jump right back in. So I know I've definitely felt betrayed by my soul. I know I've definitely gone through my own levels of betrayal in this physical realm. And I've definitely had the experience of feeling like I've been not supported or disconnected or kind of like out in the cold. And sometimes the Five of Pentacles is pointing towards like, you're right outside the warmth and you need to ask for help. But sometimes I think, at least from my perspective, it's like that help isn't always offered to individuals. That warmth isn't always pushed outward towards the people who necessarily need it, especially when those individuals might not operate under paradigms that other people might find suitable or acceptable. There are so many different biases that we can pick up in subconscious filters and things like that that can then allow people to treat the people that they love in a way that's been pretty much feeling very disconnected or, not like they have the ability to connect to others or isolated, for a lack of better words. Almost like you're out in the cold and on down on your luck almost. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of energy of dealing with conflict. I'd like to say both internal, both external and internal. There have been a lot of battles that we've had to fight. Sometimes we've had to have the experience of just being the ones to walk away and simply not bothering engaging. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've had to learn too in our spiritual journey. You cannot force anybody to accept anything, and it's not our job to. It's not our job to make anybody receive the information that we put out there. It's our job to simply put it out there, and then however it's received is however it's received. What somebody does with the information that we give them is not our business. It's only ever our place to put it out there. And we're not even supposed to be chasing people out there. Kind of like, I guess, use whatever platform you have, use whatever modality that you have. It's not our job to even hunt people down to then try and persuade them or shift their perspectives or anything like that. It's simply our goal to embody and become and allow those who are aligned with us to find us. And to be clear, there's definitely a lot of people who are aligned with us. There are definitely people who want to join us on our journey and who want to see us succeed, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who we want to experience success with and see them, reach their goals and experience these joys and celebrate with the people that we love. So I do want to start before I go any further by saying that we are definitely on the path to having the experience of success and being recognized for the success that we hold. It's going to be public recognition. It's going to be something that your goals and your accomplishments are seen by people around you and your community. So we are marching towards victory. It might just be a little bit of a slower march, but we are definitely heading there. But let's go ahead and wrap this reading up and see what the last things we kind of need to do to get through this energy is. So naturally, the Chariot would pop out because that is what we have to kind of do in certain times, is kind of just dig deep and persevere and push through. The Chariot's definitely all about that inner strength and using that tenacity that we have to go through the things that we're going through and to navigate it. And especially with the white and the black horses, it has the energy of duality and trusting both our intuition and our spirituality, as well as our physical selves, to take the correct actions, to tap into our intuition, to trust ourselves, to be able to navigate whatever challenges that are in front of us. So there's definitely a need to trust the path that we're on, trust ourselves above all else. And if you have experiences that are pushing you towards what you feel like is going to be success, then trust that path. It might not be clear cut, it might not be easy, it might not be straightforward, or maybe it is straightforward. It's sometimes as difficult as we make it, or sometimes it's really just as difficult as reality has fucked us over. But the point I'm trying to make is we kind of just have to continue going forward. And then last but not least, with the Eight of Pentacles, there's clearly something that you're good at. You could be a baker, you could be an artist, you can be literally anything. We're all here to experience different things. There are definitely roles for every individual and every soul that is out here. So whatever it is that you want to do, I can tell that you're somebody who is already fairly skilled and diligent at making sure that you are very very pristine or very good at executing your intentions well. It's just a matter of continuing to hone and master your craft and going down the path. I think with the Page of Swords, it also points towards us continuing to embrace curiosity, continuing to embrace the unknown, continuing to try our best to be open-minded to what we can, and trusting that as we are open-minded to this wisdom, this experience, whatever path that we are on, that is going to continue to lead us down to where we need to get to. And then with the Knight of Wands, we have the energy of really just trying our best to embrace what we are passionate about and running towards it to the best of our ability. You can love repairing vacuum cleaners for all it really matters, and that can be what your soul's calling is. I mean, that is an invention that has changed countless people's lives, like being objective, and somebody does have to fix them. There are people who find pleasure or joy in the what we would consider to be odd by, I guess, societal standards, but you never know what a soul's intention is or what the need is within the collective for that passion. So trust that you have a passion for something. It doesn't matter what it is, and trust that you, as you go towards it, that it will work out for you. But I think that's for the most part all that is coming through. Peace and blessings, as always, everybody. And I hope you guys have a great night. And once again, I can guarantee you're not the only person who's ever wanted to say fuck you to the divine. With love, with respect, with all the appreciation for all they've done with me. But sometimes y'all motherfuckers be tripping. Like, they really be on some bullshit sometimes. But as always, peace and blessings, and I hope you guys have a great day.